What'd you say?
You seen red zip ties?
Huh? Look, you have me right here. To your right. It's right in the front. On the bottom of the shelf.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What a beautiful, sunny October Saturday morning that we have here today. Happy first Saturday of October to everyone, and welcome to the First and 10 College Football Saturday morning kickoff show. Salute everyone, salute to the chat. Miss 225 girl, salute to you. Salute everyone. Good morning. And good morning to my panel. Sniper, you knew. Salute, 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 salute. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good
Morning.
morning, good morning.
Good morning.
We ready for some college
Morning.
football today?
Oh, come on, bro. I've been waiting for college
I
football since
said, are we ready for some college football today?
hey,
You
listen.
ready for some college football? Let's go. Let's go.
It's October. It is October. Hey, listen, the playoff races are heating up. And it started last night. It actually started last night. UNLV had a golden opportunity to make a push for that 12th spot. And they came up short. They came up short against Syracuse.
Yeah.
All thanks to the Georgia transfer, Jackson Meeks. They were not able to stop him. He showed up and he showed out in Vegas last night. And pretty much I think that's it for UNLV. I think that's it for them. I don't see them coming out of that. Army and Navy are rolling right now. Tulane, I think, if it's going to be any G5 team that gets the benefit of the doubt with a one loss, I think it will be Tulane. They'll give it to Tulane over UNLV. And you touched on that a little bit last night, Sniper, that their schedule is not really that impressive in the games. The teams, the Power Four teams that were on their schedule, they had to take care of business. It was imperative for them to win that game last night. So I think that game pretty much knocked them out of it.
Yes, sir. And what first of all, good morning, everybody. Good morning to the chat. Let me clap my hands to UNLV because I see how they made it 4-0, and I seen how they was ranked because they can play some football. Okay.
Hmm.
Give this team I give them their flowers, bro. They really put up a show for. At first, I was like, "Oh, they're down 14," but them brothers, hey, listen, that defense was just flying. They was flying around
Hmm.
all night long. But hey, at the end of the day, when when them that buzzard hit and them quad zeros hit, you got to be at the top, and they was not. So hey, but I give it up to Houston. This made more plays than UNLV.
Hmm. Hmm. Syracuse. Yeah,
Syracuse.
and you knew, and you knew is she's undefeated. She's 2-0. Made two great picks last night. She picked
Thank you. Thank you.
Syracuse and she picked Oregon. You knew?
I sure did.
How do you feel about the game last night with
I feel like woo woo. I told you I was coming back. I was coming back. It just took me some time. And it's not the colors, it's just what I feel when I look at the helmets and I see the team and I'm like, okay, it has nothing to do with what they look like. It's just what I feel when I look at it. I sense that they're going to win and that's what happened. Boom, I'm back, y'all. I'm back.
Cap, 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 cap. She was looking at the uniforms. That's the first thing she said yesterday was that the uniforms. Don't come in here
That's
trying to
because,
act like. Don't come in here trying to
bruh,
act like Miss Rachel off ESPN. Let me get up.
wait,
Let me back up off you. Let me back up. Let me
I
back up.
stand
no,
corrected. The
that is
both of
not
them are
right.
undefeated. No. I'm sorry. He's one of you. You picked Michigan.
Thank you.
You picked
Women's
Michigan State in
intuition.
this one.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Tutu girl. She knows. See, she knows. Don't you sit there and say it's because of the uniforms. Don't sit there and do that. The only time I say that is when it's gold and purple together. Okay. That's it. Any other color? I don't know. Maybe some red, black, and white. Yeah, that too. That's yeah, definitely.
Okay, let me ask you sniper. Okay, now the other game, which that's the game that we thought was going to be close. That's the game that we thought was pretty much going to go 4 quarters, but it didn't. Oregon made a statement. All right, so tell me, what did we learn from Oregon last night?
Oregon's a steady team. Oregon is a
Hmm.
solid team. As of last night, they for the first quarter, it was a little bit of a struggle.
Hmm.
I didn't get there and get their motor running just yet. But after a few minutes of they got their feet down, they get their feet wet in this game. They started rolling. Michigan State had the chance to score first and fumbled on the 1 yard line.
Hmm.
And after that, they went back and forth a little bit, but after that, it was a wrap. Oregon took over completely. So hey, we a tip my hat to you, Oregon. I did not pick you, but hey, you made me out to be a liar. So hey, good job.
Now, with Oregon, okay, so we know their head coach is Dan Lanning. Do you think, with the lackluster performances in the beginning of the season, salute to you, Tam, salute to you, brother. Do you think um, that Dan Lanning? Do you think it's a Saban tree thing? Where, you know, when during the Bama dynasty, sometimes under Saban, Bama had a tendency of playing down to their competition. Okay, if they play lackluster teams, they will play down to their competition, and then when it was time to play against the big boys, they just came out, and just they came out and showed their true colors against the big boys, and they just wiped the big boys out. Do you think that's a situation going on with Oregon, where being that Dan Lanning came from that Saban coaching tree, the Saban Kirby Smart coaching tree? Do you think that could be it, or is just a situation where just Oregon just played down to their competition early in the season?
Let me. I had this conversation before with
Hmm.
some and other. Dan Lanning has his own coaching style.
Hmm.
I don't see Kirby, nor do I see uh, 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 Coach Saban within Dan Lanning. You can see it in the other coaches that have went out that tried
Hmm.
to be similar um, to both of those coaches, especially Nick Saban. I don't see it in Dan Lanning. So I think he has his own style. He has his own way of play calling, and But I do think that they play down to their components. They don't want to put their foot on the neck and and just keep it there the whole time, or they don't start off quick. But to ask if it's just if it's a Nick Saban thing. No, I think Dan Lanning has, of all the coaches that went off and went to and become head coaches of their team. I think Lanning is a special one, and he does his own thing.
Hmm. Okay, so do you think this will eventually come back to bite Oregon as the season goes on, or do you think they're okay? Because usually teams that play down to their competition, is when they go up against the big boys, they tend to be okay. Because we saw that with Georgia in 2022. We saw that with Clemson in 2018. They played down to their competition against inferior opponents, and then when it came to the big boys, they took care of business in
I
impressive fashion.
I think they're going to. I think they're going to be okay. Um, they still got some things to work on, but when it
Hmm.
comes to when you ask about the slow starts and playing down to the competition, I think Oregon will be okay. They just can't do it all the time. If that makes sense, they got it. They it just and see how it bites them is we look at our team Georgia, we play down to our competition, and then it goes back the following weeks like, oh, we could do it again the same way, and we gets our butts handed to us until we wake up and like, oh, we actually got to play this game. So, but I think Oregon, okay.
Do you still because I know you had them in your bracket. You had them in your bracket. Do you still think that they're a playoff team? Do you still think this Oregon team is a playoff team from your eye test last night?
I think they're contenders as of now. I still will keep them in my bracket. They still got a lot. They still got a lot of football to play. They still got a lot of, and they still got teams that can derail them from being in that playoff, in a playoff, be a playoff contender. So, as of today, they still there. They still got a lot to prove.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. I don't think they'll see. Here's the thing, and I gotta honestly admit, I'm going by my eye test and I'm going by what I see on paper when it comes to Ohio State. We won't know who Ohio State really is until they actually line up against Oregon. Okay, now Iowa is going to be, if it's any team that would be a good test, a great test for Ohio State preparing for Oregon, it's Iowa, because they have a very stout defense, a fast secondary that can challenge those receivers. Them winning the Big Ten, I doubt it, but I could still see this team sliding in the playoffs as maybe a 6 or a 7 seed or something like that. Salute to you, Dubs.
We also let's see what's on. As soon as this pulls up, let's see what's left on Oregon's schedule.
Because I'm looking at the way what Ohio State did to Michigan State last week, and I'm looking at what Oregon did last night is similar, like carbon copy. So this Oregon team is dangerous. They are who we thought they were at the beginning of the season. It's just, I think it was a situation where they played down to the competition.
So, but see, hey, where am I at? In my state. So we're gonna get our wishes in what's the day? In 2 weeks. Number 3 versus number 6, if it stays that way.
On the
October
19th?
12th. On October 12th.
October, that's next week. Yeah, next week. Okay, so yeah, we have a full slate next week of games, very important games next week. The 19th is gonna be, I think the 19th is gonna pretty much decide which way the SEC is gonna go, because you have the top 4 teams that are going to be going at it in the SEC. You have Bama, Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas. That's going to be like a de facto SEC playoff.
Yeah.
Weekend, yeah.
But then you also says who's going to win that. Who the winner out of Oregon Oregon and Ohio State is going to determine the factor over there too. But you can't leave Michigan out. You can't leave Michigan out.
I'm not leaving them out. I just don't see them being able to beat either Oregon or Ohio State with a non-passing offense. They don't have a passing game. And I just, even though they did it against Ohio State last year, I do not think they'll be able to just line up and run the ball 10, 15 times in a row on that Ohio State defensive front or that Oregon defensive front.
But see, Michigan's got it. Michigan's got it bad though. They play Oregon November 2nd, and then turn around and play Ohio State that next weekend.
Yeah. So their schedule is back heavy, but they had a very tough test against Texas. Now let's talk. Okay, so let's talk about the SEC here, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone is assuming that it could be a Bama Georgia rematch, but there is a strong possibility that you could have a Tennessee Texas SEC championship game, and the 19th could actually play a huge part in this. So let's just say hindsight. Salute to you, D. True. Let's just say hindsight if Texas defeats Georgia, which will ultimately knock them out of the SEC title. Okay, and Tennessee beats Alabama. Okay, Tennessee doesn't have to play Texas, so the rest of their schedule is pretty much manageable. And you have a situation where Tennessee and Texas could be playing in Atlanta. So that is why I said the other day on the dog call that it's not a guarantee that we could have a Georgia Bama rematch, which a lot of people are hoping for that. You know, the national media is hoping for a Bama Georgia rematch, but it's not a foregone conclusion that we could actually have that. And the 19th is going to be a huge deciding factor because those two games could go either way. Texas is a matchup problem for Georgia, and Tennessee is definitely a matchup problem for Bama.
Yeah, and as a Georgia fan, I would love to see my team in the SEC championship. But being realistic, Georgia's got to handle business for the rest of the season. They do have a gauntlet of a schedule in the next 4 weeks of playing football. So we never know we don't know what will happen between now and then. Same thing with Tennessee. They got a gauntlet coming up in the next 3 weeks. And unfortunately, they don't get to play Texas this year, like you mentioned earlier. So we just got to see. We just got to see how this rolled out. But I've said that scenario a couple times. I said it could have been Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. If we turn around and beat Tennessee and they turn around and beat Alabama, it could go that way. It's multiple scenarios to go through.
Well, this is the scenario I'm talking about. This is if Texas beats Georgia, that would pretty much knock them out of the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
Georgia, okay. Tennessee beats Bama, and Georgia beats Tennessee. Even though if Georgia beats Tennessee would still hold the tiebreaker over Bama, and they would go to Atlanta and face Texas
because they beat up. Yep.
Because they beat Bama. Yeah. So so that's why I tell fans, kind of pump your brakes on that rematch happening in Atlanta. I could definitely see it happening in the playoffs. Definitely. I could see it happening in the playoffs where you have a situation where the 8th and the 9th seed face off against one another. And we done our brackets early in the season, and I think a couple of our brackets we had 2 SEC teams facing off against each other in the playoffs. So that can happen. It could happen in the first round, and it could definitely happen in the quarterfinals.
Because there will be a SEC team in the that's going to have that first week bye. And the way I see them setting up, I don't think they're going to set it up where two SEC teams plays first round.
It could happen.
It could
The eighth,
happen.
the 8th or 9th seed. That is where it could actually happen. Okay, you knew.
Do what
Quick
you do.
picks. Q&A and picks. You knew.
Hey,
Let's go. Let's
you
go.
guys in the chat, y'all answer some of these questions. Give us your thoughts.
Okay, Caleb DeBoer could be considered an elite
Should.
head coach. Yes or no?
Who you throwing the question to first?
Sniper.
Okay.
Yeah. And do I speak loud? Do I speak louder?
One
Sniper.
SEC team that happen to be my beloved Dogs does not make him elite just yet. We got to see what you can do throughout this whole series. My definition of elite is I got to see what you can do throughout the years of being here. One game does not determine that you are elite. No. I'm gonna say no on that. I don't think that he's damn near close to it, but I don't think he's elite as of now, because you just one SEC game and we're in. No, he's not an elite coach just yet.
Okay. All right. Now, before I get my answer, let me ask you a couple of questions, okay, Sniper? And right now we're in the post Nick Saban era. Post Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh, they both are gone. Okay, so right now we have left what we have left. Out of all the active head coaches, give me your 5 elite head coaches, in your opinion, that you would consider elite today on October the 5th, 2024.
I'm going to say Dabo. I'm going to say my man out west with the with USC. Golly, why can't
Mr. Lincoln Riley.
Mr. Lincoln Riley.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Kirby Smart.
Kirby.
The genius in the second GOAT in North Carolina. Boy, it's too early.
I'm talking about today now. I ain't talking about the early 2000s. I'm talking about elite
North Carolina's
today.
North Carolina's coach.
Mac Brown.
Yeah, he's having impressive wins throughout.
Okay, if you say so.
Well, you asked me a question in my opinion.
I said today. I said today. So you think he's elite today?
So you just talking about just today, like what he's done this year, or are we talking about today and going back to thinking about all their wins?
I mean, you can do it however, but go ahead. Okay. Finish your list.
I only have 4 as of today.
Okay, all right. My elite head coaches for today. Okay, and I mean by I'm talking about consistently winning today, not 15, 16 years ago. Kirby, Dabo, Lincoln Riley, Sarkisian, Ryan Day. Okay. Now
Ryan Day
you measure,
Ryan Day would be my 5th.
Yeah. So you measure a man. His Ryan Day has an excellent winning percentage. He just he's having issues with Michigan and playoff games, but during the regular season he's killing it during the regular season. Okay, so I measure a coach by his body of work, not just this year. A lot of people are overlooking the fact that this man came to Bama with a record. He has over 100 wins. I think last Saturday put him over 112 wins. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which technically, that's that's something that not too many coaches can say. All right, let's go down the list of coaches
Wait.
that he's defeated. Go ahead,
So
because
if
I
I
wasn't
remember,
finished. But go ahead. I wasn't
okay,
finished, but go
I
ahead.
put my hand up. You could have waited. You could
Go
have told me.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I
Last
thought you
week.
were done. Go ahead.
No, I'm
Okay,
done.
chill.
Hey, last week we were talking about this,
Mm.
and it's funny how you and I'm just doing a little pushback because I was
If you
waiting
let
for
me finish, you would understand why
go ahead and finish, and I ask the question at the end. Go ahead and
okay.
finish. I ask the question.
Things change as the season goes along. Things change, and what he did last Saturday, he outcoached what will be considered. A lot of people still consider the best coach, the best college football coach left standing right now. He outcoached him. No matter what, I mean, it is what it is. We saw what happened last Saturday. He outcoached Kirby. All right, so let's look at his body of work. You're saying he's not elite. He has 3 wins over Lincoln Riley. Okay, he has 3 wins over Dan Landon. He beat the guy, which I think is we don't have room for him in the top 5, but I think this coach is elite. All right. The coach down in Utah. He's beaten him. He's beaten him. All right. He beat Sarkisian on a big stage in a playoff game. And he just beat Kirby. He has not had the pleasure of facing Clemson in a game, and he hasn't had the pleasure of facing Ohio State in the game. But the other names that I just named that he actually has defeated, they're elite, especially the man, the one that a lot of people came into the season were crowning the new king of college football. He just beat him on the first try with the new team, first time. And here's the kicker: he can keep going. He can actually keep going because he has Heupel, which some people would consider is elite. He has Heupel. He could see Sarkisian again. He's going to see Brian Kelly, which some people would put Brian Kelly in the top tier. And who's to say if he sees Kirby in Atlanta again, and if the results are the same again, then not only are you going to start looking at him as being elite, then you're going to start looking at him. You're going to hear some experts start putting him up at the top of the food chain because he's beaten some great coaches, some modern great coaches.
You finished?
I'm done. You can go ahead. Push back.
That was and no, and good. That's a great that was a great analyst response. But this is my a little bit of pushback from what you said earlier last week, and then we can move on from here. Last week, you said on your live or on last Saturday, I don't know what time it was, but you were saying that Kirby was not an elite coach because he couldn't beat Alabama. But you say the same. You say the same thing about what's his face in Ohio, but he struggled with Michigan. The point I was trying to pull out last week was that there's coaches that have that one kryptonite on their schedule every year, just because they can't get over that hump of that one team. doesn't mean that he's not elite. But now you're saying he's elite this week. I'm just kind of confused about what's going on there.
You done?
I done muted up.
Okay. So you weren't present for the post game show, and I came out and I rephrased my statement that I had said Saturday morning. You knew can vouch for that. You knew a D True can vouch for that. All right, so I rephrased it. He's elite, but he is not the top dog of college football as far as coaches. All right, he is elite. And I apologize for saying that he wasn't elite. He's elite, and I will also, put if you're in the top tier coach as far as head coaches, you are elite. Yeah, Ryan Day, his kryptonite lately has been Michigan, but I would still put him in the top tier. All right, Dabo, he's his kryptonite has been Florida State lately, but I would still put him in the elite category because you cannot take away what he did against Bama and what he did to Nick Saban during the prime of that dynasty run. And he did it twice to them. Can't take that away. All right. Lincoln Riley, you can't take away the fact that this man had how many Heisman winners? 3, 4? It's a Heisman. I mean, the man has created a Heisman factory in a short span. It's not like, some coaches, they coach for 20 years and will only get one Heisman. Vince Dooley, the late great Vince Dooley, had what, one Heisman? Notre Dame, which is blue blood. They haven't had a Heisman winner since what, Tim Brown? It's what Lincoln Riley has done is special. It's just that, when he gets in the playoffs, it just unfortunately he runs into a juggernaut. He's ran into juggernauts. But DeBoer is definitely elite. He's elite. I say right now, we don't have a top dog. We don't have a king in college football right now. That remains to be seen because I can't crown you the top dog of college football if you have, and I can understand losing 1 or 2, maybe 3 times, but when you are 1-6 against the same team, you're not running the show. You're not running the show. You're not.
No, I agree.
And
I agree.
and if you want to go on, if you want to say it's a Georgia Bama problem, let's look at Vince Dooley's record against the great Bear Bryant. That record was what, 3-3? Ray Goff was what, 2-3? Jim Donnan, what his record was, 2-1 against Bama. Mark Richt, 3-3 against Bama. And he has the same amount of wins against Nick Saban that Kirby does. Kirby, out of all of the UGA coaches in my lifetime, he's the only one with a losing record against Bama, 1-6. I mean, it is what it is, But like I said, it could get better, or it could get worse. Because if this thing goes the way a lot of people are predicting, and they meet up again in the ATL, and the same results occur against DeBoer, and this is year 1, and with all of those transfers that left Bama, and this man is able to get a second win over Kirby, something that Saban wasn't able to do, oh, you got to start looking at this man totally different then.
When did
I start looking at this man totally different then.
So you mentioned that he has a win over a win over Dan Lanning, right?
Hmm.
His first. So
He has 3 victories over Dan Lanning.
So the first one, the first 2 is his first 2 years in as a head coach. Am I correct?
Hmm. Hmm.
When
At
his team
Washington.
at Washington, the first
Hmm.
2 years Dan Lanning coached coached at Oregon, DeBoer beat him.
Hmm.
Dan Lanning hadn't had his feet wet yet. The first 2 years at USC. That's his first. That's Dan Lanning's first 2 years as a head coach. A win is a win. Don't get me wrong with it. Don't get it to a win is a win.
Hmm.
But your first time as a head coach, you might catch them losses. Right? Am I correct to assess it that way?
Yeah, yeah.
I understand that Lincoln Riley was he's a proven head coach. We both put him as elite. But again, you go into a different system. You might catch those losses. I'm just putting it out, looking at it as a broader than straight down the pipe. When he beat Sarkisian, that's when he was at USC, correct?
Hmm.
You see where I'm going with it? You got 100 wins. You could be possibly elite. And I'll put DeBoer 6, but I look at it as the names that you mentioned. There's a factor to it. First time head coach with the teams that he beat them with. Just those 3, and that's just the way I feel about that.
Okay, like I said, we have a lot of football left to play. This could go different. He could drop an L to Heupel. He could drop an L to Drinkowich. He could drop an L to Venables. This thing could go totally different for DeBoer. Then it also could increase his resume.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So we have a lot of football left to play before we can crown a king. But by the end of the year, we will be crowning the new king of college football because someone has to take the crown. It's not gonna remain vacant. It's vacant today on October the 5th, but it won't be at the end of the year.
All right.
You knew.
All right. Keys to victory and an upset win for Auburn today, Armando.
Basically the same blueprint that Bama ran, but don't just do it in the first half. You got to do it for 60 minutes. Stack the box, load the box, take away the run, force Bobo to be aggressive in the first half. Force Bobo and Carson Beck to beat you down the field. Don't give up any yards on the ground. Lock down the running lanes. Lock down the running lanes. And on offense, play the long game. That's another thing that Bama did in the first half. They played the long game. There were no explosive plays in the first half by Bama. Those were like dink and dong here, dink and dong there. Run to the outside. That's what they were doing to Georgia in the first half. So that would be the blueprint. Play the long game, shorten the game, get a lead on Georgia, and then in the second half, put pressure on them. But what you did in the first half, you got to do it in the second half. You can't. I don't know what Bama was doing. I don't know what that was in the second half. It was like, it was like a group of guys went in the tunnel at halftime and change uniforms and Some new guys came out the tunnel. So I don't know what that was, but yeah, Auburn just same blueprint, but do it for 60 minutes.
All right, Sniper.
Just stay at home. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, they got to. I agree with Armando. They got to. They got to try to expose the right side, the strong side of our field because they're gonna have to try to expose our defense because we do have a lot of players out. A lot of our impactful players is going to be out on the defensive side of the ball, and they got to expose that. They have to get the run game going. Um, which uh, which Armando has pointed out that they got one of the best running backs right now in college football. Um, they and Thorne's got to be on point. He's got to be selective in his passes, and if he's got to take off, he's got to take off. He's got to be consistent. So that is there. And on the defense side of the ball, let us. Hey, you stop. You got to be ready for a tempo offense. I believe that Georgia's going to come out with a tempo offense, and they got to be ready for it. They can't allow Carson Beck to get in a rhythm because we seen once he get in a rhythm and he can throw it down the field now, they he'll carve you up. So you got to be ready for it. You got to be ready to defend it. You got to be able to disguise your defense. Um, just like Alabama did in the first half, they disguised their defense. You know, you think that they're going to be in the nickel, and they drop back. Um, look like they're stacking the box, and next thing you know, they're in the doggone. And next thing you know, they're uh, I just lost my train of thought, but y'all know what I'm saying. They got to disguise the defense, try to confuse Carson Beck, and see how this game ends.
Dub said they can't start Peyton Thorne at the as a quarterback. They'll lose 59-7 for real. What y'all think of that?
I beg to differ. I have to respectfully disagree with Mr. Dubs. Payne Thorne had a great game. As a matter of fact, Payne Thorne two best games last year was in the Iron Bowl and definitely against Georgia, which I would put the Georgia game number one as his best game of the season last year. And that was a better defense last year. This year, we're going to be without one of our best linebackers, a projected first round of Smile Munden today. I don't know the status on Brinson, Hall, or Mikal Williams. If those four are not playing today, I would definitely roll with Payne Thorne because then you have the threat of the run and the pass. And Payne Thorne's accuracy down the field has gotten a lot better. Uh, One of the problems that has plagued Auburn this year is this: the ball has just been bouncing funny. And D. True pointed that out a couple of times in his War Eagles zone. The ball has just been bouncing funny in close games where it's been ricocheting off of Jaquez Hunter's hand, ricocheting off of the receiver's hands, just been bouncing funny. But today could be one of those days where everything just clicks for Auburn, and that would not be a good thing for Georgia. So, yeah, I would roll with Payne Thorne. Payne Thorne, with the with the issues that the dogs have on with the injuries and on defense. Good morning, happy Saturday to you, Bacardi Obama. Salute to you.
I I dislike. I'm not going to say hate or anything. I dislike when we compare games from last year. What has Peyton Thorne done this year? Yes, I agree. The ball um, has been bouncing funny for them. They too many drop balls, too many the ball hit the hands and it just falls like they're trying to catch a greased pig. But what has he? I mean, he in the 4 games he's played, he's been benched 2. Yeah, he had a great game last year. His coming out party last year, playing in SEC for the first year. But what is he doing this year that makes that gives people the hype that he can beat a depleted defense team, as we've mentioned before. And I got the injury report sitting in front of me. If you want to know what they're saying, but that's what I like to know, what he's done this year, not last year. Injury report: Harris is out, is questionable for disciplinary. Malik Williams out for his ankle. Brinson out. Robinson out. Hall out. And what's this dude's name? How you say this? Malloud. I can't even pronounce. He's questionable for the abdomen. Those are the players that's out for the night.
The reason why I don't erase what was done the year before, because you got to take into consideration that the UGA defense was healthier and a lot better last year than it is this year. And he played his behind off in that game. All right. Now, this year, from my eye test, from what I've seen, it's been a stroke of bad luck, because this team could easily be undefeated right now. This team could easily be undefeated. They could have beaten Cal, and they could have beaten Arkansas. This team, actually, I would go as far as saying this team actually should be undefeated right now, if it wasn't for the ball bouncing, just funny, just kind of similar to what the Falcons. The Falcons should be undefeated right now, but the ball bounced a little funny, and they're at 3-2. Great season though, still. But and that's another thing that makes this team dangerous. They are, in my opinion, from my eye test, they're better than what the record is showing us right now. So I would go with Peyton Thorne at QB over Hank Brown, because you want to, right now, the blueprint to beating Georgia is shortening the game and sustaining the ground game and long drives. And Peyton Thorne gives you that. Out of the two, between him and Hank Brown, Peyton Thorne gives you that. Now with Hank Brown, if you go with Hank Brown, you got to be careful, because that secondary is still intact. That secondary is pretty much the backbone of the defense, of the UGA defense, and Bama found that out in the second half. That secondary wasn't giving up anything until the end with Ryan Williams. So that's my opinion on how I would go if I was Hugh Freeze.
I respect your opinion.
Okay.
All right, next question. All right, UGA cannot afford another slow start today against Auburn. Yes or no, Sniper?
I'm not going to start this off being a non-Christian man, but I am. Hell no, they can't afford to do another slow start. I think they have to, like I've been saying all week long, you have to come out with that tempo offense, keep the defense on their heels, and move the ball down the field. You got to figure out some way to protect that outside. We was talking about this last night, Armando, and I went back and did some highlights of oh boy, Chad. I'm about to go and get some more coffee. What's the dude name that we said he needs to be?
Chaz Chambliss.
Chamberlain.
Chaz Chambliss.
Chamberlain. Chamberlain does not set the edge. He does a bull rush every play and get caught up in the mess. But on the line, he does a bull rush every play, and that's the reason why he gets beat on the outside, because he does not set the edge. So we cannot, as a Bulldog fan, start off slow. As I was saying all week, we have to get that tempo started early. Let Carson Beck do his thing. Let him carve up the defense the way he sees it, and not give the defense, Auburn's defense, a chance to set and see what we're doing. Get to the line, hike that ball, make a move. Get to the line, call another play, and make a move. We have to get our run game going. We've been known for years to be RBU. Where's that game at? I know this game has changed, and we want to throw the ball. But the one thing that I believe, and what I've if you run the ball, it's set up for your passes. It's set up for your explosive plays down the field. Armando, while me and Armando was talking one time, yeah, we don't have that thumper up that can run up the middle. I think that I think that we do when we have Nate Frazier, but we got to use him. We got to use the young boy. We can't. Hey, this is if Kirby's saying he doesn't have enough experience, but give him his experience. Give him time to play, because he is explosive. He can get the ball down the field. ETN, let the man use him catching out the backfield. Let him go around the edges. We cannot start off slow. Or it's going to be a long 60 minutes. And I don't want to go through what we did last week. I don't want to go through what we did against Kentucky, and I don't want to go through what we did through Clemson anymore. I want Georgia to start fast, score early, and give the defense some time to breathe.
All right, Armando.
Definitely can't afford a slow start today. And one of the main reasons why, because I think Auburn will score some points. Auburn will score some points because Auburn's style of play is our weakness. They love to run the ball. They love to run. They love to go lateral. They love to take you lateral, and they're gonna follow that same blueprint that Bama ran on us in the first half. And also they have an elite wide receiver, a freshman. That's another danger. Okay, so it's imperative that Georgia comes out scoring points in the first half. This could even get into a shootout. To be honest with you, this could get into a shootout, and Carson Beck, 5th-year senior. I know it's some people are saying, well, we shouldn't put too much on Carson, but he's a 5th-year senior. You had 5 years to develop your deep ball, and this is your team. You came back because you said you wanted your own ring. Yeah, you got 2 rings, but those are Stetson's rings. Those are Stetson's rings. You said you came back for a 5th season. You wanted your own ring. This was really supposed to have been Vandegrift's team. But you came back, and Vandegrift moved on and went to Kentucky. Okay, so if this is your team, you're going to have to put this team and carry them on your back until McCall and Jordan and Brinson are available, and Smile Monday and them come. You're going to have to carry this team. You got to carry this team the same way Stetson did when Jalen Carter went down. Remember, Sniper? Jalen Carter went down for 3 games. He went down in that Missouri game, and we were missing him for 3 games, and we didn't get him back until the Tennessee game. And Stetson pretty much carried the team. So no slow starts because Auburn is going to score some points today.
I agree. I agree. Who's
All
the
right, next question.
this question goes to D Truth. I hope you're getting better, buddy. Hey, we miss you up here. But who is the second elite wide receiver that you talking of?
The Coleman kid. He's the only elite receiver that Auburn has.
No. In the chat, D Truth said they got 2 elite freshman
Okay.
wide receivers. So I was
Yeah, he
asking
would
who
know
that
better
second.
than me.
Yeah.
He
I
would know.
wanted. That's why I asked him.
Yeah,
Answer the best. Answer when
I
you
know
can, bro.
Coleman is the elite because we were trying to get him. Kirby wanted him bad.
Okay.
All right,
Keys to all right. Keys to victory for Mizzou today. Sniper. Oh, I'm sorry. Armando. He said Simmons.
Simmons is okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, Sniper. When I think about Simmons, I think about Dylan Bell. Okay, so if you consider Dylan Bell elite, then you would consider Simmons elite. Coleman is definitely elite. Coleman is on the level of a Luther Burden, Ryan Williams, Jeremiah. So I will put him in that top tier of receivers because he's down there unguardable.
I agree. Uh, Simmons' name hasn't been thrown out a lot.
Mm-mm.
But he is a Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we use all the components on the Swiss Army knife when we talk about Simmons compared to Dylan Bell. Because remember, Dylan Bell can be a running back, damn near a quarterback. He could be a receiver. He does slot. He does outside. He could do the Z, the Y, and the X. He can even play tight end if you want him to. So it's a very close comparison, but not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this because of anything else. I don't think he's elite. I think he's a great player. I think he can make it up there in the years to come.
Let me ask you a question. If Dylan Bell was, let's just say if Dylan Bell was with the Vols, do you think he would be putting up elite numbers?
As if they play him right, because you got to think at first when Kirby just used him as a receiver, then he was like, oh, I forgot you played running back in high school. Let's do that. Hey, I forgot you can play the slot. Oh, I forgot you can do this. You could do that. If they played him right with the talent they have around him, he could. Dylan Bell could be the missing piece for any team. I'll put it to you like that. He could be the missing piece for any team.
Yeah, he is that Swiss Army knife, and that's what makes him dangerous. That's what's really going to make him dangerous today. That's why I say it is imperative for Georgia to come out and establish the run game and score some points. It is imperative. They got to come out and score some points today because Auburn's damn sure going to score some points. On that banged up, depleted Dogs defense. All right. You knew. I'm sorry. You want the next question?
I already asked it. Keys to victory for Mizzou today, Armando.
Keys to victory for Mizzou today. Mizzou, Jinkowicz, you have the offense down pat. You got to go back to Missouri football, and that is tough defensive line play. You got to get back to what you were known for, Eli, and you were known for a suffocating defense. You got to get back to that style of defensive play that you had that you put on us 2 years ago and last year. Uh, Smother that A&M O line and make a statement on defense. Don't and I mean, 'cause I think if it got into a shootout, Missouri would definitely win the shootout. But Missouri on defense, you gotta do better on third down. You gotta do better on third down. What went down against Boston College and Vanderbilt on third, you were losing the third down battle. You must win the third down battle today against A&M.
All right, Sniper.
Yeah, Missouri's defense got to step up. That's going to be their victory. Their defense got to go out, and they cannot get into a shootout because of their defense. I think that we saw a glimpse of being getting into that very good defensive category last week, but they gave up a lot of yardage last week. So I think their victory to win, it has to be their defense. Has to be their defense.
Okay. Anything else? If not, next question. Keys to victory for South Carolina today, Sniper.
I'm muted. I'm talking to myself. Do what you did against LSU with your starting quarterback. Play hard defense and let the flow of the game come to you. You can't get down because when I noticed with South Carolina, when you get down, you start doing things that's out of the ordinary for your team. But you have to just let the game come to you. Play smart on the offensive side. Do not try to force much, bro. You got wheels. Take off, run. Make the defense respect your run game. But the defense got to stand tall throughout the whole game.
Whew. Oh man, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm nervous about this one. This schedule, we came into the season thinking that Ole Miss had like a easier path to the playoffs. Their schedule has gotten a hell of a lot tougher than it was 3 weeks ago. Carolina, same game plan that you had against LSU. Blitz with a little more blitz packages. You want to blitz dark. Kentucky showed us that Ole Miss has some flaws in their O line, and I think this South Carolina D line could exploit that. Uh, I would leave my corners. You got two good corners and safeties. You got a darn good secondary. You can afford to leave your corners on the island with these Ole Miss receivers because I believe those pass rushers can get the dart. Because I don't think that Ole Miss O line would be able to hold up against this South Carolina D line. So that's the keys to victory.
Sniper, anything? All right, next question.
Wait,
Keys
wait,
to
wait, wait.
victory. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was muted again. I got to remember I'm mute. I'm watching the chat on my iPad and live on the phone. Hey, Armando, I had a question to ask you real quick. Um, the rankings at the beginning of the year. Should there be rankings at the beginning of the year, in your opinion?
No, I don't think there should be any rankings come out until that uh, after that last Saturday in September, because by that time you would have done had some marquee matchups. You would you pretty much know what 70% of these teams are working with. So all of that preseason rankings and Heisman rankings and stuff like that, I agree with you. All that preseason ranking, they need to get rid of that. They need to get rid of that because a lot of these teams that were ranked high were not. They didn't deserve those high rankings.
Yeah, I agree. One thing is that I will push it to the second week in September. The You said the last week of September. I will push it to
The
the second
last
week.
week, like we played Bama on the 28th on the Sunday morning of the 29th. Then you come out with your first rankings
Yeah,
that last Sunday of September.
because I don't think that you can rate a team playing teams that's not at the same caliber as you,
Mm-mm.
and then say, "Oh, they're the best team in college football." Even though there's teams that they have the Chick-fil-A the game, whatever have you. You have these high intense games when you do have, but it's the first game of the season. You
Mm-hmm.
never know how people are going to roll after that. And as we could tell, Clemson comes out, lose to Georgia, but they haven't lost a game since, and they play some one or two heavy hitters. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't believe in the Heisman. You could, and I think it's just it's something for the media to talk about. To have the rankings that high, um, the rankings and all that stuff. But yeah, I think we should get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
You knew, do what you do.
Keys to victory for Cal tonight. Sniper.
Cal's a different team. I don't know. I don't see Cal's. You have to make a statement tonight. You got to find your identity. Yes, you beat Auburn by a touchdown. But watching Cal, I don't see what their identity is. I think this tonight to win tonight, you got to come out with an identity of either we're going to be a run team, we're going to be a passing team, uh, we're going to stop the run, we're going to stop the pass. I just don't see their identity yet. They have to bring forth that tonight. That's the only thing I can say about Cal team is you got to form your identity tonight and prove it on the field tonight. That's the way you're going to win.
Mm,
All right, Armando.
they control the line of scrimmage like they did against Auburn. Uh, dial up blitz packages. Dial up a lot of blitz packages. I don't understand why a lot of defensive coordinators don't like to go after mobile quarterbacks like a Cam Ward or a Jalen Miro, or I don't understand why you don't go after these quarterbacks. It's if Michigan improved anything in that Rose Bowl, they proved that the blueprint to stop a mobile quarterback like that is to just go directly at them. Just go at them. Backing your linebackers off and playing zone is not a good idea against quarterbacks like Cam Ward and Jalen Milroe. You got to crowd that line. I will put seven, maybe 8 men in the box and force him to beat me with his arm. He would have to, and I'm talking, and not just beat me with his arm. He got to beat me down the field. I would take away those intermediate routes, those crossing routes. He would have to do it down the field. And he's going to have, and because one thing I notice about Cam Ward, he doesn't really have a quick release. He does not have a quick release. He holds the ball. He has that same flaw that Michael Vick had, where he would try to hold on the ball and try to do too much. And I think if you come after him, you can force him. You can hit him with like a 10-yard sack or 15-yard loss. You can put him in that situation and have Miami at a 2nd and 25 or 2nd and 30 situation, because he tries to do too much. So that would be my keys to victory. Dial up more blitz packages, control the line of scrimmage. Send more men than they can block.
Okay. You have anything, Sniper?
I think I'm gonna wait to the next question, because I think the next question is, what is Miami's key to victory? If I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, not a Miami question.
No. Coach Prime is a serious candidate for Coach of the Year so far this season. Yes or no? See, Armando.
I think right now he's running neck and neck with Kalen DeBoer. And the reason why I say I will you have to throw Kalen DeBoer in, because he came in with a lot of pressure. You're going behind Nick Saban. You're following Nick Saban, the GOAT, number one. And number two, a lot of guys left. They transferred on him. Key players. Downs, Bond, the other Rondale Williams guy. A lot of guys left and transferred on him. So it's going to be a two-headed monster. So far, it's going to be a two-headed monster. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with Missouri. Now, if Missouri keeps rolling the way they are, then Eli can put his hat in the ring for that Coach of the Year. So, yeah, but right now, Prime and DeBoer right now are neck and neck.
Michael?
I have 3 head coaches, and Prime is one of them. Kalen DeBoer is neck and neck, but if this one team takes that loss that they had last week and improve from it, I think Coach Clark Leah from Vanderbilt is in that race also. But what Prime has done from his first game until now is a very much improvement. Like Amando's been saying for the last 2 weeks, we haven't heard much from him out of Boulder. There's no riffraff. There's no controversial statements. There's no arguing with the media. It's starting to settle down. So, and his team is improving because of the nonsense that I feel is not coming out of Boulder anymore. He has a very, very good chance as of today. If the voting stopped today, I think he could be that coach of the year. Uh, but the to take a team and in 1 year uh, and be 3-1 right now, 4-1 right now with what Vandy's doing, I think that he has a Coach Prime and Clark has the best chances to become the coach of the year as of now.
And a wild card would be a wild card would be Sarkeesian as well. Yeah, keep an eye on Sarkeesian. He could sneak his way into that conversation as well. And Hypo also. But right now it's Prime and DeBoer, the two front runners.
All right.
Well, Sarkisian had what's this his third year coaching at Texas or
Hmm.
second?
Third.
His third year,
Hmm.
3 years.
Hmm.
I'm looking at these coaches that team was at. Okay, Alabama, the board coming to a system that's already established. Yes, they lost a lot of folks, a lot of players with the transfer portal. Sarkisian had his team established. Prime was not. He's a good coach, but he is not a great coach when it comes to wins and losses just yet. And to see the turnaround in his third year, um, I think that's a better turnaround than the coaches that you mentioned, and also with Clark, it's a big turnaround because again, as of today, if he even with the loss last week, he fought and he fought hard. His team fought hard for him, but it was a field goal that won that game. If they didn't miss the field goals before, we easily saying that he's 4-0 right now. So I I I, I think I hold the head coach, the coach of the year, a little bit different because I like to see the turnaround, not something that's already established and you keep it going. Um, or you build your team up to the level that they're playing right now. You you finish damn near 3-3 and something last year, 3-9 last year, but now you are on year 3-1, and you're beating teams impressively. You was the laughing stock of your division last year, or your conference last year, and now you're 3-1. I think I hold them just a little bit, and it's your first year. I hold it just a little bit differently than the average eye.
Okay. From the pattern that I've seen in college football, the turnaround, the coaches that have had the best turnaround, with the exception of Sonny Dykes, those coaches usually get the conference coach of the year. Like I can see Prime winning Big 12 coach of the year. DeBoer would be different. Okay. Lee, I can see him winning maybe SEC coach of the year. Okay, because of the turnaround, like Kirby did in 2017. Okay. Um, but when it comes to that coach of the year, overall national coach of the year, that's going to go to a team that's going to go to a coach where the team not only is winning, but they pretty much dominated. They dominated, and you overcame a situation. Now, even though, yeah, Bama's Bama, whatever, but to come in there in that situation. And then remember, a lot of experts were predicting that they wouldn't even get anywhere near the playoffs. A lot of experts were saying they would go 9-3, or some had them 8-4. No one foresaw what we all seen happen in Tuscaloosa. No one saw that coming. So that's why I say you know, he's gonna get strong consideration for coach of the year.
Did we see Vanderbilt being 3-1 this year?
Remember Vanderbilt. Remember Vanderbilt was coming along. They beat Florida last year. Although they lost some games last year. If you take a look at Vandy's record last year, it wasn't like they were getting boat raced. They were putting up a fight, and so I kind of knew that we would see some improvement from Vandy. Now, can you imagine if they still had London Humphreys and Will Shepherd? They could very well be sitting there with maybe one loss or undefeated. I could imagine if those two wouldn't have transferred, the conversation would be totally different. All right.
Did we miss a question?
No, that was it. That's it for the Q&As, bro. That's it for the Q&As. All right. We're gonna go into our picks.
Oh, before we go to our picks, Armando, go ahead and establish the hierarchy of who's going first, who's going second, and who's going third, and we'll rotate from there. So somebody on our panel know their place.
Well, I mean, okay.
Don't tell me you're gonna put me in my place. Don't play with me. This how we'll do it. Okay, the moderator go last. Okay, the moderator go last. Okay.
Yeah, the moderator go last, and that would be because normally I'm calling out the picks. So I will go last, and y'all two will go first. Okay, so we'll do it like that. Huh?
The truth. Make sure you put your picks up here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So me being last, that means I go after you.
Yeah, and that means you gotta let us talk before you talk.
I know you better stop talking to me like that. I'm about to hurt both of y'all, virtually hurt y'all. Stop playing with me, doggone it.
Yeah,
Especially you, Mr. Sniper.
These gonna be some tough picks. Now, this is the main event of the day. This is the game that is on our marquee today, but it's a 12 noon game. Wow, a 12 noon game. I'm surprised they didn't put this game at night, but this is the 12 noon game from Cowfield and College Station, Mizzou. This is their first test, and I can't think of a better team to test them and prepare them for that matchup later on down the line with Bama than Texas A&M. I'm gonna start off with you, Sniper. Then I'm gonna go to you, New, and then I'll make my pick.
If first of all, Mizzou, you're as it's known, you're gonna be playing 12 people on 11 people on the field and 12 in the doggone stands. That place is gonna be rocking. You have to settle in quick, and you got to shut that fan base down. But do you have enough to do it? We're gonna go with Texas A&M.
The truth.
Yeah, feeling a little better, but not that much to talk like that. Know what I'm saying? I just came up to get my picks.
Hey, D Truth, how are you?
What's
I'm
going
glad you're
on,
feeling
brother?
a tad bit
We
better.
praying for a speedy recovery for you, brother.
We might have to
Yeah,
put you in
yeah.
the bubble because you've been sick. You got sick last week. We got to put you in the. We're gonna call you the bubble man from now on. We're gonna have to put you in a bubble.
I was sick last week.
Or the week before, you had you was a little under the weather.
You're gonna leave him alone. That's what you're gonna do.
Man,
Get,
you,
All
get
right,
better, D Truth. Get
who you
better.
got?
who you got in this one, Deetra?
I gotta go with the Mizzou Tigers.
You knew, you knew, you
Mizzou,
knew.
Mizzou, all the way Mizzou. A&M suck.
Mhm. And the nickname being Tigers don't have anything to do with it, right?
Not at all.
Black and
Nope.
gold ain't got nothing to do with it.
A&M been tripping. They've been tripping. They need to, they need to work on themselves.
Okay, I'm going with Mizzou. I'm going with Mizzou. They too many weapons. Too many weapons.
You just gonna leave me hanging. I got you. I see what type of big brother you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. It ain't personal, it's business.
No, yes,
All
The
right,
kind
personal.
that wants to be correct.
UCLA and Penn State.
That's hey, Penn State.
Hey, tournament with Texas A&M, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, okay.
Go ahead, Sniper.
Mm, y'all gonna stop getting on me about my picks. Um, hey, I'm going with Penn State. I think they got something going here. I'm gonna go with the hot hand, Penn State.
The truth, it's your turn.
Nah, you was out the sniper.
No,
No,
you next.
you second. You go second. You after
Mm-hmm.
Sniper, and then she going third.
Mm. Well, I'm going Bruins. I feel a upset Bruin.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
You know,
I'm just gonna go with UCLA.
I knew that was the one she was gonna pick. I
How did
Mm-hmm.
you
knew
know?
that the one she was gonna pick right there.
How did you know?
That powder baby blue.
In that yellow in there, that gold and blue. I
Mhm.
knew you were gonna pick them. Um, Penn State, Penn State, Penn State on the mission this year, bro. Penn State,
No, don't get on my train now.
Penn State.
It's gonna be okay.
SMU in Louisville.
Woo!
Yeah,
Jesus.
Louisville still ranked 22. So Papa John Stadium. Oh, KFC Stadium. I'm sorry. KFC Stadium. They changed the name. KFC Stadium.
They went from Papa John's to KFC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, give me them Redbirds again. Give me those Redbirds. I think they let me down last week.
Well, I'm going to take this sniper. Louisville ain't the only one got a hot hand. SMU do too. Let go horses. Let go horses. SMU.
Let's go horses. I see where you going with that. All right, I see you. Well,
You know?
I was muted. My bad. I'm going with Louisville.
You going with who?
I'm going with the other team. I'm not going by no doggone SMU. They lose too much.
No, I just wanted you to say it again. I thought you said Louisville.
I
Going with
said
the Redbirds.
Louisville. You gonna stop playing with me, sir?
Going with the Redbirds. Redbirds. Louisville. They'll bounce back today. The Indiana Hoosiers travel to Evanston to take on the Northwestern Wildcats. Who do you have, Sniper?
Really, Armando? Really? Oh my Lord! And I gotta go first. Give me those Hoosiers. Give me the Hoosiers. This is not a basketball game, right? This is football. This is football, right? No basketball. Yeah, give me the Hoosiers.
Well, old man told me say, go Northwest, man, go Northwest. So guess where I'm going? Northwest.
What old man told you that?
Northwest.
Give me them Hoosiers.
You wrote that. You wrote that down, D. True.
I got all of them wrote down.
The Auburn Tigers travel to Sanford Stadium today to take on the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Who do you have, Sniper?
I just don't know. You know I'm going with my dogs, boy. Let's go, dogs. The hell with Auburn. Try to tell who I'm going for, Sniper. You know my dogs is making a comeback somewhat.
This game right here gonna be Auburn turnaround game right here. Let go War Eagle. Let go Tigers. I'm going Auburn.
Oh, shoot, this one is hard because if I go with Georgia, then I'm going against D-Truth. And if I go with Auburn, I'm going against Armando and Sniper. I don't know who to go against right now.
I tell you what you do. Go get a coin and flip it.
Jesus Christ.
You spoke very. Hey, wait, hold on. You know what? Hold on. We still got some time. So I'm going to say it like this. You have been praising the dog's name ever since last week. Or the week
Georgia.
before.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to be the new vice president. I'm going to be the new vice president.
I apologize.
No, check this out. I already put all 3 of y'all down for Georgia. And I'm going with Auburn. So there you have it.
I'm sorry, D-Truth. I hope you feel better.
Okay. You know I'm going with my dogs. Go Dogs. But this game scares me. This game scares me today. Auburn is catching Georgia at the best time that any team could catch a Kirby Smart Georgia team. This game is scary. It scares me, but I'm going with Georgia.
And another thing, when you talk about the wide receiver, and I forgot about the wide receiver for Penn State, KLS Smith, the main wide receiver, he's on fire. So, hey.
You ain't. I think you feeling just fine. I think you're feeling just fine. But hey,
The-
to respond back to you real quick, Armando, is Auburn catching? Is Auburn catching? You said Auburn is catching Georgia at the right time, but don't you think that those dogs are pissed at how their performance was about last week? With the lack of or with the depleted defense from last week, also.
Everything you're saying, Sniper, it sounds good. Okay. But we said the same thing last week, that they were pissed off after the Kentucky game. They had 2 weeks to be pissed off because from what I'm hearing from coming out of Athens, they were treating that Kentucky game like a loss. They were pissed after that game. So where was all that anger and hostility at last Saturday? Because they came out flat. The problem is, bro, I don't care how much motivation you have. You can go listen to some Newt Rottnett tapes. The problem is talent on the defensive line, lack thereof, because you got backups right now on the D line that are backups for a reason. So that's why I'm saying, man, the injury bug is affecting UGA, bro, because they're getting hit. They're getting hit where the last place you want them to get hit at, on the D line. And Kirby mentioned that before the season. He said, not much depth on the D line. If Chambliss had a hard time stopping Jam Miller on the outside, what do you think? You got Jarquez Hunter coming today. What you think is going to change in a 7-day period? You think he all of a sudden going to turn into Luke Kingley in 7 days? No. You think he's going to turn into Bill Romanowski in 7 days? No. It is what it is. I mean, they're going to have to beat him in the air. Georgia's going to have to win that game. Carson Beck is going to have to carry the team because I just don't have confidence in that D line holding Auburn's offense, pitching no shutout. They're not going to. Not with all those players out today. They ain't pitching no shutout. All right, Ole Miss versus South Carolina. Sniper. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, right?
I'm going to stick with my corrections. Or say with my picks from what I've been saying all day long. I'm gonna stick with South Carolina.
Well, I'm going with Gamecocks. There goes South Carolina.
South Carolina. For my boy Renegade.
Hey, if the Sellers can stay healthy for 60 minutes, I got South Carolina winning this one. This is a matchup problem for Ole Miss on both sides of the ball. A matchup nightmare.
Who'd you pick?
I got South Carolina. Salute, Jam. Salute to you.
What's going on, Jam?
Okay, so we got Ohio State versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. Who do you have, Sniper?
This is the test this is the test that I believe that Ohio State's can make a statement. This is the test. And if they work on all cylinders, I'm picking Ohio State.
Well, I'm looking at this game. Ohio State. I'm going Ohio State, but would I be surprised if I went to win this game? No, I wouldn't be. I'm going Ohio State.
You knew? Wake up.
I'm awake. Ohio. I like that red around that helmet. I'm just kidding.
OHIO. I'm sticking with to me and from my eye test, the best team in the nation. OHIO. Until somebody proves me wrong. The Alabama Crimson Tide travels up to the Music City, that is Nashville, Tennessee, taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Who do you have? Sniper. Because we know who you picked back in the beginning of the season to win this game. Do you have a change of heart today? Do you have a change of heart?
I picked everybody to beat Alabama. Still, does Vandy have enough to go 4 quarters with Alabama? No, they don't. I'm picking Alabama.
Alabama. I wanted to go first, but I couldn't go first. But Alabama. Oh, I'm sorry, D-Truth. Go ahead, D-Truth. Go ahead, D-Truth.
Well, I'm looking at this right here. I'm going Alabama. Like I said, don't be surprised if this is an upset, especially the way Alabama played last week. If they play like this week against Vandy, Vandy might find a way to pull off the win. I'm still going Alabama though.
Sweet home Alabama. I'm coming home to you. Alabama.
Go ahead. Keep singing. I got the beat. You go ahead.
You're going to make me lose my Georgia card. I didn't have no business doing that.
Look, I was about to ask you, would you like to return it in the mail or drop it off personally?
Okay. All right. Normally, bro, I'm telling you, man, this before the beginning of the season, this right here was going to be like the most anticipated one of the most anticipated games in early October. Clemson and Florida State, but because Florida State came out this season later egg. Salute to you, Clarence Bank Jr. Came out later egg. The beginning of the season, the game has kind of lost its luster this year. Clemson travels to Tallahassee to play the Seminoles. That area is recovering from the hurricane. By the way, our thoughts and prayers are with the people of the citizens of Tallahassee. They were hit pretty hard by Helena. So that could be used as motivation today. But who do you have, Sniper? We'll start with you.
We're gonna also give thoughts and prayers to the that area where Clemson is also, because it wasn't hit hard, but it's close to the Augusta area. So prayers out there for those families too. Difficult game to pick, but I'm going to stick with the hot hand. I'm going to stick with Clemson.
Yeah, I'm going Clemson, and the next 24, 36 hours, Florida get hit in. So I'll thought some prayers with them too. So, hey, I'm going Clemson.
Okay. Our thoughts and prayers with those who have been hit by Helene. But Clemson, yeah, that's the ones I choose. I'm sorry, FSU. Clemson.
In these kind of games, bro, you don't bet against Dabo. I'm going with them Tigers. I'm sticking to my prediction. I don't think they lose another game this season, in the regular season, that is. All righty. The men of Troy, USC Trojans, travel to the Golden Gopher State and play the Minnesota Golden Gophers. All right. Who do you have, Sniper?
What is the Gophers? They are 2-3. They've been playing some really. They've been putting some yards down. They haven't been tested yet, but they've done what they have with. You know what? I'm going for an upset. I'm going with Minnesota. That's my upset.
I'm going USC.
USC Trojan 9.
I'm so done with her. So done with her.
I'm going with the Trojans, man. I'm not confident in that pick, but I'm going with the Trojan man. I'm not
Really?
confident with that pick,
I
but I'm
think
going.
You
going with
really?
USC.
USC Trojan
Mhm.
1.
You said you did the Trojan man right after her, Armando. What is
I
really
started.
going on?
You don't be paying
He
attention because I
started
started it.
it.
I know.
I've been doing that for 2 years, man. I've been
Yeah,
doing
but
that for 2 years when I picked the Trojan.
He started it.
Keep up, brother. Keep up.
I keep
Stay
up.
Everybody
strapped.
know I started that trend. She just
Stay
started
strapped,
saying
bruh.
it
Stay
after
strapped.
me. Now, Little Rock, Arkansas's night game. The Tennessee Vols travel to Little Rock and play the Arkansas's Razorbacks. Tennessee got to be careful. They got to be careful. Who do you have, Sniper? This is a tricky one.
As painful as it says for me to say this, I'm going to stick with. Give me them Hogs. I think this is going to be their trap game. This is going to be a game where Arkansas can get back there and fluster Nico. I'm going with the Hogs.
Well, this is going to be Tennessee coming out party, going on the road. That game in Arkansas, Little Rock. Give me Tennessee.
Give me Arkansas.
No, she just snored. She snorted. God.
Oh my God! I moderated, got up this morning and started drinking heavily.
You off the chain today. Well, let me think. I've been going back and forth on this one. Sam Pittman, cut off that damn jukebox because you ain't gonna be playing it tonight. Them Tennessee Vols. And it's gonna be closer than the experts think.
So who'd you choose?
He went to Tennessee.
I said Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
I'm going Tennessee.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Why you tell her to speak it right?
Big Ten after dark. Big Ten after dark. I think this game starting off at its kickoff is at 11:15 p.m. tonight. Miami versus Cal. The Hurricanes travel to Berkeley, California. Very important ACC matchup here, brother. Very important ACC matchup.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Nova?
He said Cal. I heard it.
What'd you say, Nova? You want me to pick? My dog said to pick Miami. Stay with the hot boy.
He said,
He
man,
said Cal. I heard him say Cal. Why are you going against your dog?
Well, first of all, it's a she, and she said pick Miami because all the hot babes down there in Miami.
Well, her. My bad. I didn't know if it was a her or them.
oh, okay. D Truth, it's a tough one. It's a
Well,
tough one right here.
I'm going to put it like this right here. Miami going to cool off tonight. Cal going to cool them off. Yeah.
Of course, California for my girl. You know who I'm talking about. Together. There we go.
Well, my second upset special of the day. California knows how to party.
Party. Hey.
California knows how to party. In the city of Berkeley. In the city.
Yeah, hey, you missed six. Hey, you missed six of the first pick.
I thought it was LA, in the city of LA, but okay.
No, that's out of.
It's a
I
part
said
of the
Berkeley
song,
because that's where
lady.
Cal located at.
Don't play with me, Mr. Sniper.
I switched it up. I switched it up because Cal is in.
You
is
did.
in Berkeley.
I'm just messing around. You did.
All right.
I figured you did.
Now, D Truth. Okay, we had a question earlier. All right, we had a question earlier in our Q&A, so we got a little time. We made good time today. Keys to victory for Auburn. Now, I'm going to give you. We're going to mute up, and we're going to let you have the floor because this is your team. Oldest Deep South rivalry. It's been a minute since y'all beat Georgia. 2017 to be exact. What is the keys to victory? You know what Georgia's working with today. You know what we working with today. Tell me your keys to victory for Auburn, and then give me your keys to victory for Georgia.
I've been saying this all year about Auburn. Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. I don't care you Jarquez Hunter, All-Star, or Pintor. Run the ball. Mix the run up. Play action. Keep that defense and keep that defense off balance. Run the ball, run some time off the clock. And you're gonna cut out the special team. That's for both that's for Georgia and Auburn. Gonna cut out the special team. And for Georgia, like you said, make Quarterback beat you through the air. That's Georgia key to winning the ball game. Beat Auburn through the air. So it's both opposite. The way I said Georgia could beat Auburn through the air is because we got freshman defensive back. So hey, they both opposite. Run the ball for Auburn, pass the ball for Georgia to win the ball game. And special teams and keep your turnovers low. That's for either team. And if the team that turn the ball over, you got to capitalize on it. So that's the key to victory for both teams. Yeah, Clarence Bank Jr. It sounds good come for our Alabama team that badly almost looked like 2010 last week. Alabama is not impressive. They got lucky. Put it that way. So, like I said, run the ball for Auburn, pass the ball for Georgia to win the ball game, and keep the turnovers low and special teams. Them are the keys to victory for both teams.
Okay,
Oh,
Sniper.
wait till that 7-year-old kid get hit with a good lick.
Mhm.
Then what?
Let me Let me ask you a question, Sniper. Let me ask you a question. One thing that we saw last Saturday that was uncharacteristic of Kirby Smart coach team was the turnovers. How important is it for Georgia to limit the turnovers today?
Well, what I said earlier after watching the game, um, I only gave 2 turnovers. That the fumble
hmm
and the end of the game. At the end of the game, that was the wrong decision by Carson Beck. Um, he made some bonehead plays. Carson Beck did, especially when they was on their way of rolling back. Um, the fumble, the turning up the field, going to the sidelines or running, turning over on that 4th down play. And then, like I said, the interception at the end, because if we looked over to the opposite side, he had Aaron Smith wide open. He beat his man. So the other 2 turnovers, I put that on the receivers because the one receiver wasn't looking, and then the second turnover, defense just confused him and stepped back and was right there to pick that ball. If he made a different decision, it would have went the other direction. But turnovers, that impact the game a lot. But they have to limit that, regardless if it's whose fault is it. They have to limit it because, again, we don't turn the ball over that much. Like you just mentioned, we don't turn the ball over that much. We don't throw interceptions that much. I think in the last couple of years, I think we're in single digits of turnovers. 4 in one game is out of character for us. So better decisions by a quarterback, better decisions about play calling will limit those and execution of those play callings is going to limit those turnovers.
If you were Mike Bobo, Sniper, what offensive strategy would you come out with? Would you go to what you did in the second half against Bama, being a little bit more aggressive, or would you come out and establish the run to try to shorten the game and keep Auburn off the field?
Again, if I was offensive coordinator, if I was Mike Bobo, I would be up tempo damn near the whole game, which you can mix in the run and the and passing and explosive plays down the field. It's proven. We saw it last week. It shows us that Carson Beck is not effective going into the huddle. Things are calmed down. Defense can look at his defense can get a beam on him, and he's and make it an effective play. If I was Mike Bobo, I will be like, all right, first 3 plays is in your helmet, or I'm calling it while you're on the line. As soon as y'all line up, because remember, you have all the way down, you can talk to the quarterback all the way until 15 seconds left on the clock. So tempo, and again, mixing the run and the passing. I honestly think also that Georgia does not have to beat Auburn in the air if they run the tempo. You're going to get your explosive plays during the tempo, running that tempo. We show how that is, but at the end of the day, do what you're known to do and keep it going. Our problem is our defense is depleted. we still got everybody besides our center on offense. And like we said, Bobo did a great job coming in the game and holding it down. Defense is going to be we defense got to be under control and putting everything in front of them and stop it. Defense got to freaking tackle. You know how many missed tackles we had last week? One-on-one tackling. You know how many missed tackles? I think the only person who was consistent last week was our boy Jackson. He was the only consistent tackler we had last week. So that's where I am. That's where I stand. But if Mike Bobo, if you listening, start your game off with tempo. Keep the defense on their heels. Keep them guessing on what you're going to do. Bring those and use your playmakers. I know that Humphreys is out with mono. I don't know how long does mono last. Does anybody know that? How long does mono last? Because
it depends on how severe it was. He could be good maybe around Texas, around the 19th. He should be available about the 19th. It's very contagious, so that's the one thing you have to take precaution with. It's very contagious. D-True. What defensive strategy, if you're Hugh Freeze, how would you defend Georgia, knowing that Georgia lost their starting center last week, so you got a backup center in the game. You got Michael Morris on the side where Ratledge is at. How do you attack Georgia's offense if you're Hugh Freeze and that Auburn D coordinator? Okay, I'll come back to him on that one. I think he had to step away from the mic.
Hold on. Mono lasts 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes 6
yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I never had mono before, so I that's why I was asking how long does mono last?
Yeah, depending on the severity of it. Yeah, depending on the severity of it, if it's hopefully it's not as bad as we think it is, because if it was that bad, I think Kirby would have immediately ruled them out for the rest of the season. So let's hope that we see him back in Texas. We're gonna need all hands on deck on Texas against Texas. We're gonna need everybody for Texas.
And that's the reason why I think a lot of these players are out this week. And we're gonna roll the dice and see what we can do this week. Because we got another big gunslinger coming, or we're going to go see another big gunslinger, regardless if it's Ears or Manning. And both of them can run the ball too. So, hey, blessings out to you, D Truth. I hope you're all right, bro. I just seen him drop off, but
yeah, go get you some rest, brother.
Like I said, I think that that's why we're holding them out for the big game coming up, because we got back-to-back games, Texas, Tennessee.
Okay. Now, if you Kirby, how would you defend? How would you what defense are you running today? Are you being aggressive? Are you coming at Peyton Thorne? Are you blitzing? Are you dialing up blitz packages? Or are you dropping your linebackers back and just playing in front of the chains? Which direction are you going if you're Kirby and Schumer?
If if I'm Kirby, I'm doing what I did in the second half. I'm putting a spy on Peyton. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting a spy on him. Whatever direction he goes, I'm going there. We cannot be scared to put our corners on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if we keep him in front of us and we're closing them in, one thing that I did see at the Alabama game, that pocket started closing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bull rushing and they were getting to that, making that cost a little claustrophobic for Milrose. He got out of it somehow,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that Peyton is going to be any. It's not the athlete of Milrose. So if you keep a spy on him, he's going to and make him just throw. I think that we can be able to handle that. Be able to handle those passes on the outside. Our mid-game passes is pretty good. It's just when they get downfield, you think about it, they just made like we said, lucky pass, lucky catches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to fool Starks twice. And Bolden is definitely holding his own. He just got beat twice, 3 times, and results in touchdown. Or a big play. That opposite side, I have to agree that Leverett, he kind of held it down on that side, on his side. It's the other side we're worried about. It's the other side I'm worried about.
Okay, 225 girl asked the question. She want to know how come the transfer wideout from USC hasn't been utilized. And she's speaking of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, if you remember, he was kind of like Lincoln Riley's clutch player. Late in the game, when they would double up on the other receivers, Michael Jackson became that go-to guy. If you go back to that Colorado game, Michael Jackson was the go-to guy at the end of the game, and USC was able to pull out that victory against Colorado. I heard a lot of good things about him in camp, and we have not seen him yet. So he's not on the injury report. So I mean, what's going on? What is actually going on with Michael Jackson?
But in the same sense, I think that we have too many studs at receiver right now. And it all depends. You know that Kirby is how you do in practice.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what's going on in practice. I can say the same thing about the freshman. I think he's a redshirt freshman, Tuggle. Why haven't we seen him? He's fast as all get up. But I think we're going to be able to see Michael Jackson here shortly. I think that we're going to he's going to get some playing time. I think he just probably still stuck in his USC days, the way of play, and hasn't got down to the Georgia way of playing just yet. And remember, to be a receiver on the Georgia roster, you have to block. Kirby's made that known. You have to block.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't block, you don't play. So maybe they're still building that up. But that's just speculation. I haven't been to a Georgia practice. I can't tell you why.
D Truth. D Truth. Okay. I had a question for you before you had to step away. If you're the Auburn defensive coordinator, what defensive scheme would you dial up against Carson Beck in Georgia today, knowing what you know that we're missing? Now we're down 2 key linemen. Well, we're down our starting center, and Ratledge is out for the season. How would you attack Georgia today? Would you dial up blitzes, or would you play zone?
DJ, you know he's like that 3-3-5 defense format. We don't like that 3-3 defense line with 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs team. I don't like that. What I'll do is I will stack the line with 4 at the line, 3 linebackers, and 4 to the back. And lead them defense back on the island by themselves. That's how the offensive line handle the pressure of 4 or 5 guys coming down and the pressure cuts back. Make him get rid of the ball before they have to. That's the defense game I would use on her. I won't play no zone. Because he plays zone on Carson back and he gets out to throw the ball. The receiver have time to sit out and find open space in that zone. I'm going to play no zone. I come at the quarterback, blitz, fake blitz, make the quarterback have to think. That would be my defense strategy against Georgia today. But I already know DJ Jerkins, they do it.
Salute to you, common sense. Salute, bro. Are you shooting gaps? Are you sending your linebackers up the gaps, or are you coming more from the edges? Are you going to test that new center out today? Would you test that new center out early in the game?
I test that new center out. I test them out. I switch it up. Come from the edge. Come through the 4 or 5 gap. Slide back to the 3 gap. Make the offensive line think. That's what they got. That's what they just got to do. Because 3-down lineman ain't gonna do it. And 3-down lineman, linebacker show hell ain't gonna do it. A 4-3-4 will do it. The 4-3-4 defensive scheme will do it. Guarantee you. So if you make that center think, make the offensive line think who they got about, where the blitz coming from, that would make Carson Beck have to think.
Thank you very much, D-Troop. You just made me even more nervous than what I already was. I mean, because if you were thinking that, I can imagine what that Auburn defensive coordinator is thinking.
I got a question.
Yeah, man. That's why I say I'm nervous about this one, Sniper. He hit it on the nail, man. He hit it on the nail. But what I've been thinking all week, man, is
You want to go back and change your answer?
No, man. I'm riding with my dogs. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, just make it show.
I think it's gonna be a 4-quarter fight. A lot of Georgia fans are expecting us to come out there and beat the brakes off Auburn. And I'm telling you, because we're missing pieces on the O-line and we're missing pieces in the trenches on both sides, this game is gonna be a hell of a lot closer than what a lot of Georgia fans think. Get ready. Get ready. You're going to be on the edge of your seats for 4 quarters for 60 minutes today. This is not going to be easy. It's not. I think Georgia will pull it out because of the Carson Beck factor and because of our secondary. But this game is going to be just like last year. It's going to be a 4 quarters battle.
Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Clarence, we getting hit bad by the injury bug, man. We lost Munden. Munden is out. He will not be there. So now we got to bring in a backup linebacker, and we don't know what that backup is working with. I mean, like I tell people, it's a reason why players are backups and they're not named a starter in the beginning of the season. I mean, Sniper, you're a football guy, and at the end of camp, there was a reason why you had your starters and you had your backup. There was a valid reason. That's all I'm saying. You know.
So before I give Auburn's injury report, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we do have good backups. We do have good backups, and just like again, playing against a good defense last week, Bobo showed that he can play at that level. Our only issue is Chambliss. That's the only issue. Yes, Hall is going to be missed. Munden's going to be missed. Williams is going to be missed. But we do have a decent amount of backups. Kirby keeps some backups in his pocket. It's that next man up mentality. Yes, maybe you got outplayed in practice, which is an important piece and important factor to the whole thing, like you were just mentioning. But you got to step up when your number is called. Got to step up when your number is called. Real quick, Auburn is missing 2 DBs, Tyler Scott, Champ Anthony. They're missing their tight end, Brandon Frazier. Jaron Thompson, hope I said that right, D-True. Probable. Musa, probable. McLeodin, probable. McPherson, their kicker, goes back to what DC said earlier about being special teams. And they got an offensive line, Xavion Miller, probable. They got some players out also.
But I'm going to tell you this. But some of the players that was out, some of the players played last week. And Matt Fisher, he been out for the whole season. And that's what the time that tight end you got to worry about. It's fair weather you got to worry about. That's the tight end you got to worry about. So and the tight end that's out, he's the backup. So, but our key receivers not out. Our key defensive linemen is not out. Our key linebackers not out. Our key offensive line. Still is the most important player on the offensive line. He's not out. He got to make the check calls at the line for the offensive lineman. So I already knew that was out.
I'm not as worried as I hear what Amando's saying. I'm not as worried about the players that is out. I think that we do have a decent amount second string and third string that can make an impact. Might not be a dramatic impact, but I think that we can make an impact to doing what we have to do to get the win and bring it in for our homecoming. And look, when we also are playing in Athens, that's another big factor right there. We're playing in Athens. Now, if this was Jordan Hare, I'm still look. I'll be on that level, if not higher than Amando. but we're playing in Athens. I think we have a very we got what it takes to pull out the win, not just outright win, but pull out a win.
All right.
Yeah,
let
did
me-
you know that Houston played last night, Armando?
yeah, yeah. I didn't put that game on the board because neither one of them were really relevant, and the game didn't have any relevancy. That's why I didn't put it on. I try to keep it down to a minimum of 2 picks on a Friday. Um, Let me ask both of you gentlemen a question. Okay. A loss today, as we know, a loss today would pretty much eliminate Ole Miss from in my opinion, the playoffs. Okay. Um, if okay, so they took a L to Kentucky last week, and if they take a L today, because most people had them, if they did lose a game, it would have been to Georgia. But to take L's from Kentucky and South Carolina, what would this do to Lane Kiffin's legacy? I mean, do we step back and take a different look at Lane Kiffin if he loses this game today?
I've been took a step back and took a different look at Lane Kiffin for all the ball head decisions he have made those some of these ball games that Ole Miss had played. And granted, he's a good coach, but in game decision making that he be making is bonehead. You're on your side of the 50-yard line. I can see is at the end of the ball game, you got no choice but to go for it on fourth down. Why go on fourth to whatever and give your opponent an easy a short drive? See, I wouldn't look at Lane Kiffin no different than been looking at him. That's my point. I don't know. He will fall down the how many? This is what second, third coaching chance in college football. It still ain't did that. It's still making the same coaching decision. I wouldn't look at him no different if we won or lost the ball game. That I've been looking. How I've been looking at it. That's how I see it.
I think that it's going to be very hard I think that Lane Kiffin is a great offensive coordinator. I don't think he is in his history is not show me great head coaching vibes. Since he's been a head coach, I don't think that he really hasn't had a very good winning season. But he can call an offensive game very well. Honestly believe after this season, he's going to be on a different. He might be in a different team, right down there in Gainesville. But I think that if I was Lane Kiffin to savage what he has right now, and it's hard for a head coach to go to be a coordinator, go back to what you do best, and that is being a offensive coordinator. So if he loses today, I feel the same way. I don't see him as a great elite head coach. I don't think I ever seen him as an elite head coach.
Um, let me ask you all a question, okay? Um, how dangerous is this Bama team, in your opinion? I'm gonna start with you, D. True. From what we've seen so far, sport, not Sports Center, ESPN, a lot of the networks, they're hyping Bama up now as the team to beat. How dangerous is this Bama team right now currently, and how dangerous can they become? Honestly, set aside fandom and your Auburn, the orange and blue aside. It could be an honest opinion of how dangerous is this Bama team, and how dangerous can they be moving forward?
I'm gonna put it this way. You heard me say this before, time again. This team of Alabama is not dangerous. This Bama team is not dangerous. Not as dangerous of Bama team as past before. Until I see them put four quarters together, I can't consider them dangerous. It's laughable to consider them dangerous. Yeah, you can score 28 to 30 points in the first half and come out and score what? 9, 7 points in the second half? And your defense gives up almost what? 27 points in the second half last week? It's laughable for them other sports commentators think Alabama is a dangerous team. How can you be a dangerous team when you play one half of football and come out and look like a pee wee team the second half? I don't think they're dangerous at all. That's from my eye test, my opinion, me from watching them. I'm not speaking as an Auburn fan. I'm not speaking as them as my art brother. I'm speaking as from what I have seen. It shouldn't have took a lucky play to beat Georgia last week. They would have came out last week and played like they did the first half. I might consider that, hey, they might be a dangerous team. But for right now, they are not a dangerous team. They are not a dangerous team at all.
Alabama has dangerous tendencies. They got gas. They put all their effort, all their might in the first half, and didn't have enough to sustain it in the second half. What's going to happen when you got a team that plays you 4 quarters? Because again, it's been mentioned all week long. Georgia didn't play them 4 quarters. What do you when you come across a team that plays you 4 quarters? You are not, and again, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the year, just like D. True said it. Yeah, they're earning their respect, but nobody's afraid of them. Nobody's afraid of Alabama as of now. They got great players, but they don't have the great team as we've known them to have across the board like they did in the past. They still, and when you say when you or they still got a lot to prove. So if you still got a lot to prove, how can you be dangerous? Yeah, you perform one game under the big lights, but you got plenty more to come. So being dangerous, no, they got dangerous tendencies. You take so when you say being dangerous, you take Milrow out of the equation. Let's just say Vanderbilt tonight, they they take Milrow out of the equation with his legs and make him throw a lot more than he's accustomed to. What happens to the rest of the team? Because he's the rest of the offense. He's a field general, and he can be a field general. Uh, um, but can he just beat you with his arm alone? Let's just say they take Williams out of the equation. What do you do with the rest of your game plan? We really haven't seen the run game from a running back from Alabama. We haven't seen that yet. We've seen it against the mediocre teams, yeah. But what happens if we take your star player out of the equation? They go over there and they double team your 17-year-old. What do you do? So again, I think that Alabama has dangerous tendencies, but I don't think they're completely dangerous as a team. Hey, in common sense, I'm just being 100 with you. I'm just seeing what I've seen. Uh, Take it as you will. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, my team is now, brother. Think of it. Don't look at it as an Alabama fan. Look at it as a college football fan.
I'd like to hear Armando answer to them two questions.
Mm. I have to agree with Sniper. They can be dangerous. You can't take that away from them, the truth. They can be dangerous. They present matchup problems. You have to, I think the way to defend them is you have to come up and you gotta put hands on Ryan Williams. You gotta be physical on him. You can't play off of him. This kid he'll blow right past you. You got to play him physical. Elite receivers like him, you gotta get physical with them. That's the only way to defend that. Uh, they have some issues in that secondary. Now, I keep hearing Bama fans saying, "Well, it's a bunch of 5 stars in the secondary." Yeah, but how many times have we seen 5 stars come to college and them stars don't translate? How many times have we seen players show out in high school and then when they get on the college level, it doesn't it doesn't pan out. So there's no guarantee just because you got a bunch of 5 stars in that secondary. There's no guarantee that it's going to work out. Um, in the last 2 or 3 years, that secondary has been a problem for Bama. That has been their weakness. The last time Bama had a solid secondary, in my opinion, the last time they had an elite, solid secondary, you got to go all the way back to 2017. After that, let's just look at the pattern. 2018 in the SEC championship game against Georgia. 28 Santa Clara. Look at 2019. Look what Auburn did to them in the Iron Bowl. Look what look what LSU did to them in the air. It was like over 400 yards, almost 500 yards of passing on that Tide secondary. 2020, they gave up some yards in the air in that secondary. Even, remember when they played Georgia, when Georgia went to Tuscaloosa in 2020, Stetson had it. He put up his best passing yards of the season against Bama in 2020, and in 2021 their secondary was kind of decent, but it wasn't on the level that we've seen in the past from Bama with the Mika Fitzpatricks and the Clinton Dix and D Milners. It hasn't been on that level. It hasn't been on that level in a minute, and it's not on that level now. And because of the upcoming games they have, Tennessee and Missouri, teams that have hybrid offenses, teams that have aggressive play callers, that can be a problem. That could become a serious problem. That Tide secondary is an issue. Now, Bama fans want to sweep it under the rug and pretend like the second half didn't never happen, and you're just looking at the final score, and you're not looking at how your team finished. They didn't finish well. Take away that lucky fluke play by Ryan Williams, and y'all had a terrible second half. You weren't moving the ball. You were going 3 and out. It didn't look good. So they can be dangerous, but they have some issues on that team before you can crown them as the team to beat in the nation. Now, on that note, Texas. Everybody is talking about Texas and Georgia on the 19th. Next Saturday is the Red River. And we know what Oklahoma's working with on defense. You've seen it firsthand, D-Truth, last Saturday. How dangerous is Oklahoma? That Red River rivalry game. How dangerous is Oklahoma going to be to Texas? I'm going to start with you.
It's going to be, if they come out and play like they play against Auburn next week against Texas like that, it's going to be a long day for Oklahoma. And I don't think Texas going to make that mistake Auburn did in that ball game. They are dangerous team for Texas, but I don't think they're going to be that dangerous to them.
Sniper? You got to unmute, brother.
Yeah. I know. I was waiting. I didn't know if he was done yet. Again, Texas has the tendency to be has a tendency to be dangerous. They got a lethal offense, but has that offense been tested yet? Has that offense had a defense that put their hands in the dirt and just go crazy on them? They had their first string quarterback is still kind of injured a little bit, but Manning's doing his thing as a backup. But again, when Manning gets tested, we'll see if they're dangerous. They haven't played an offense that can move the ball that well. So I put them in the same category. Yes, you're doing your thing with the teams that you play. That's on the opposite side of the ball. You're doing your thing. You're handling business. But when that true test comes out tonight, we're gonna find out: are you dangerous, or are you just a team that's just handling business? Dangerous to me is that whatever I do, whatever I do, you can't stop it. Let's see if let's see if you could do that, because I believe right now, with the way that Michigan is playing, if Michigan played Texas right now, that game would have had a different result. Texas probably still would have won, but the way Michigan is playing now, it would have been a little bit different, and we wouldn't be saying, "Hey, is Texas dangerous right now?" So I put them in the same category as Alabama. I got to see what they can do for 4 quarters against a team that's going to sling mud with them. And I'm going to say the same thing about Ohio State. That's another team that we got to see what Ohio State can do when they got a team in front of them that can punch them in the mouth and how they respond. And if they can do whatever they want to do on the field on the offensive side, do whatever they want to do with those as you say, the NFL receivers. Because I seen glimpses of it. And I gave them their flowers this week on earlier. But somebody put your hands on you and bump you off the line and make you have to think which direction to go. That's what I need to see right there. If somebody actually manhandle you on the line, can you handle that pressure and still get down the field? And that's one thing that, like you was mentioning earlier with Mr. Williams, Ryan Williams, can he get hit in the chest and run through that defender? Can his feet make that defender look goofy? That's where we will say if that team is dangerous or not.
Yeah, because as we saw in the Tennessee Oklahoma game, those Tennessee them kids can hit. they and I mean the Oklahoma players were getting, they were dropping like flies in that game. So you know, even Kirby said most of the game he would, he had the DBs were playing off on Ryan Williams, and I don't understand why. From the scouting report or whatever, and that's going to lead me into my next question. Okay, why was Georgia so unprepared going into Tuscaloosa? You're coming off a bye week. You're coming off of that debacle against Kentucky. Why were they, in your opinion, Sniper? Why were they so unprepared for Ryan Williams and Jalen Miro? I think he froze up. D True?
What were the questions?
Why do you think Georgia came into that game last Saturday so unprepared, even after 2 weeks of being put on notice of how lethal that Bama offense was and that passing game was? Why did they look so lethargic in the first half, or why did they come out so unprepared?
I'll say this. I'm gonna put that on the coaches. I'm gonna put that on the coaches right there, right? We got a big game. Gotta go Brian Denny. And it's up to the coaches to talk to the players, to come in that game and be prepared. Come in and be prepared. Come in and play from the giddy up. I think that I think that was on the coach's part for not having them guys prepared for the first half. You would get you got, and then you got your captains. It's on them too. They got to come in looking at the game. Hey, not a must-win game. You got to come in there and have the mindset is we want to beat these boys. We want to beat them, and we got to come out and play like we want it. They win the game, thought it was going to be headed to them, which it wasn't. You see what happened? They had a fight. So I blame the coaching staff and I blame the captains on that football team for not being prepared for that ball game. Bottom line.
I take a little bit of both, but here I put more on the execution by the players. The first half, we couldn't execute nothing. Nothing went right for us. To say you're unprepared, you had all spring to be prepared. You had all summer to be prepared. We didn't execute until the second half. Couldn't run the ball. We couldn't tackle. Tackling is done during practice. And we practice hard. Just like was mentioned with 225, we practice hard, if not one of the hardest practicing teams that's out there. But to say you're unprepared, no, I wouldn't say it's the preparation wasn't there. I say we didn't execute, we didn't tackle, we couldn't catch, we couldn't pass, we couldn't run, we couldn't defend, we couldn't block. We didn't have the right personnel on the field to defend the outside because of injury and because of players not knowing their assignment. I don't know if we can say they're unprepared. I think again we got outplayed. I know Kirby mentioned that in his debriefing of the game, the conference. After the game and say, oh, we wasn't prepared. No, you just got outplayed. In the first half, you got outplayed, you got outcoached. Again, the 5 factors in a game, you got to throw the ball in the right spots. You got to catch the ball when it hits your hands. You got to tackle when somebody's in front of you. Open field tackling or gang tackling. You got to defend and make sure nobody gets open. And you got to defend and make sure if they run up the middle to the outside, A gap, B gap, you got to be there. So I wouldn't say they wasn't prepared for this game. It's just that they didn't execute while playing this game.
Last question. How important is it for Ohio State to make a statement today against Iowa? How important is it? Because this is going to be their first legit real test on defense. How important is it for Ohio State to come out and make a statement in dominating fashion against Iowa? D-Truth, and then we're gonna finish it out with you, Sniper.
Well, when I look at it, it's very important because if they don't, we'd be looking at our team tied for first in the Big Ten. Tied for first or either second in the Big Ten. So this is important for Ohio State to keep up in the Big Ten. So if they lose this game, that'd be one game they down, and it's gonna be a long hill to climb back for them to get back into the Big Ten championship picture. So this is important. This is a important game for them to win. And right now, as a look, both Iowa and Ohio State is 1-0 in the Big Ten conference. This is a very important game for them. Very important. So it is. They got no choice. They're gonna have to win if they want people to take them serious. They want to keep that what number 3 ranking. If they lose this game to an undefeated one loss Iowa team that is not ranked, and we know how these people in the polls, I don't like polls this early, right? But what kind of hit they're gonna take in the poll if Iowa beat them? They're gonna take a big hit from an unranked team. They're gonna take a big hit from an unranked team if they lose this game. So it's very important for them.
So this game is important because this is the game that everybody's going to look at and become believers, or look at them and say, "You're not who you say you are." This is they're going to take this more personal than the game itself. If they don't come out and dominate against Iowa, and they let Iowa stick around to the fourth quarter, then they're going to be like, okay, so what was all this hype about you got this player, you got that player, you got this, you got future this, you got future that. Your roster looks unstoppable, but you let Iowa stick around with you. And Florida's going to remember this game if it goes that way. They're going to remember this game. And yes, they will still make it into the playoffs because they really, besides Oregon and Michigan, they got left. But this game is going to be one of those games where you say, are they who they say that was at the beginning of the season? Now we know why they've been overlooked until this day. Because you haven't played you haven't been tested, you haven't been punched in the mouth and had to respond to it. They are, until today, that's the reason why you've been overlooked. So at the end of the day, it is very important for them to make a statement today against a team that, gives them a little bit of a run for their money in the first couple of quarters. And then Ohio State decides to turn it on mid second, early third quarter and run away with it.
Well, all right. It's been a great morning show. Today is a very it's very important. We got some teams that were playoff favorites that are going to be tested today and tonight. I'm really looking forward to that game in Berkeley tonight. The game in Little Rock, Tennessee should be very careful with them. Ole Miss is I think South Carolina is catching them at the right time. Jackson Darter's going to have to. He's going to have to, much like Carson Beck. Jackson Darter's going to have to carry Ole Miss. He's going to have to make some NFL type throws on that South Carolina secondary. Georgia, I think this is going to be one of those games that Carson Beck is going to have to step up and make some plays. He's going to have to make some plays down the field. They're going to have to score some points against this Auburn team. There's no way of working around it. This defense is depleted, and you can't depend on them to come out and pitch a shutout for you the way they were able to do last year in a lot of those games last year. So he's going to have to figure it out today against that stingy Auburn defense. A&M and Missouri is about to get ready to kick off here shortly. We've already made our picks on that game. I think Missouri also, much like Ohio State, can make a statement. Today, the media has been kind of down on Missouri because of the close calls with Boston College and Vanderbilt. But I think if they come out and they play impressive, get an impressive win against Texas A&M, then I think they can change the narrative and possibly move up in the rankings, in the SEC rankings, and in the AP and college. Coaches poll as well. So salute everyone. Thank you all for coming out. And we hope all of you enjoy the rest of this beautiful first Saturday of October and enjoy your college football Saturday. All right. So I'm going to start with Sniper. Then we're going to go to D-Truth, and then I'll go, and then you knew we'll go last as far as our final thoughts. So Sniper, we're going to start off with you.
Play your game, fellas. Play your game. This gonna be, oh boy, there's some there's gonna be some games right here. It's gonna give you some heart attacks. So hey, just play your game. I'm gonna go ask this question for everybody to answer it as they give their final statement. What game are you going to watch at this 12 o'clock hour? I'm going to switch between the Missouri and Texas A&M, UCLA, and Penn State. Those are the two games I'm going to be going on. And at the end of the day, go Dogs! Sick 'em!
Well, like I said, don't be surprised of some upset day. And whatever you do, be safe doing it. Watch these games and have fun. And what game are we watching? We didn't have it on the pick. I will be watching that David Air Force game to see if David can stay undefeated. And you know, David Air Force, and when David Army and Air Force play each other, it's for the Commanders Cup. Hey, let's see which one of these teams can win the Commanders Cup. So that's the game I'll be watching too. So, like I said, everybody enjoy the day, and don't get some of them should have caught up in the ball game, but not in the end of the world because your team gonna get to play next week. So, peace.
All right, that was a great way of putting that. Hey, look, it's all for the love of the game. We're all college football fans at the end of the day. But one thing's for certain, both teams can't win. Okay, it's got to be a winner, and it's got to be a loser. It's just no way of working around that. So, everyone, hey, enjoy your college football Saturday. Good luck to your team. Whatever team you root for, good luck to them. One thing, everyone for coming out. And like I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. And one last thing, even though I'm nervous, I'm on edge. I got my 81s close by. Because boy, they've been running my blood pressure up a little bit this season. But as always, since from the cradle, from the sandbox, go Dogs, sick 'em, woo 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 woo.
No.
And on
You
that
have to
note,
do the bark better than that. Bark better
and
than
on that
that.
note,
was
and
not it.
and on that note, we got the college apparel dropping from my sis together.
And
You got to go back
Hey,
to that bark.
V-necks.
Wait.
Tarek,
Bark.
will you please
Better.
come on? The
We
V-necks.
need a
We
better
got the
bark.
V-necks. We got them dropping. So, hey, contact together if you want. Hey, with any team, Georgia, Auburn, it don't matter. Syracuse, if you're a Clemson fan, hey, if you're a fan of Army and Navy, Rhode Island, if you're FCS school, HBCU, she does it all. Just get in contact with her. She'll hook you up.
All of it, y'all.
Great material. Great material.
Yeah.
V-neck, the V-neck. Hey, we're dropping them.
Yeah.
But like, you want me to do it over again? Want me to do it over again?
Yes.
And on that note, to my Georgia Bulldogs, go! Dogs! Send them!
War damn eagle, and shout out to the Falcons.
Much better.
Shout out to the Falcons. Shout out to the Falcons. What they pulled off Thursday night.
Much better. And yes, make sure y'all order your shirts.
Watch out for them dirty birds. Watch out. They coming. All that talk about Dallas Cowboys this, Dallas Cowboys that, Dallas Cowboys this. My dirty birds are what's happening in 2024. All right? Undefeated in the NFC. And the only reason why we ain't undefeated, the refs screwed us in the KC game. And in the Pittsburgh game, the ball bounced a little funny. We really should be 5-0. My dirty birds better watch them.
Go Navy. Beat Air Force.
War damn eagle. Take us out, you knew.
All right, wait a minute. Before I say that, look, y'all make sure y'all get your shirt. We do customize shirts. So all you got to do is let her know what you want on your shirt, and we got you. Hey, come on now. What's up? All right, y'all. Y'all ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. See ya. Bye. I miss you.
Oh, hell no. You ain't gonna talk about my Falcons there, Agent Smith. I ain't gonna talk about my Falcons. What's wrong with you?
Hope you get better soon.
Y'all grab that merch. I'm a girl together. Grab
Make
that
sure
merch.
you do it.
Get all the names on the back.
Customize whatever you want. Just let us know. We got you.
Great material.
She just doesn't do any Georgia Tech teams. Sorry, no Georgia Tech.
Not true. We do it all.
No Georgia Tech.